Hi everyone, I'm Nishi Patel from Northampton Accounting, and today I wanted to talk to you about VAT registration. So VAT stands for Value Added Tax, and the standard rate of VAT in this country is 20%, although there's a few other rates. The idea is, if you're a VAT registered business, you add 20% onto the sales price to your customer pays that 20%, and then you hand it over to HMRC. But you also get a refund for any VAT that you've paid to your suppliers. So overall, the amount of money you give to HMRC is the difference between the VAT you've collected from your customer and the VAT you paid over to your supplier. As you can imagine, VAT's good for a lot of businesses, but it's also bad for others. And the kind of businesses where it's good for is if you're selling to a customer who themselves are VAT registered, then they don't mind paying the VAT because they'll get a refund from HMRC, and but it means that you can get a refund for the VAT you pay to your supplier. So overall, your sales will stay the same, but your cost base will go down. The kind of businesses where it's really bad for is if your end customer isn't VAT registered themselves and can't recover the VAT from HMRC, then a lot of the time they won't want to pay it, which means you've got to pay it yourself, and then you end up losing 1/6 of your sales to HMRC. So a lot of businesses in that situation don't necessarily want to register. If your turnover, as in sales, is up to £82,000 a year, then you don't have to register, but you can if you want. When your turnover goes to above £82,000, you have to register. And this is an area that trips a lot of businesses up because they don't realise their £82,000 threshold is done on a rolling 12-month basis, not on their accounting year or a tax year. That means at any point in the year you have to look at what your sales were in the last 12 months and then decide whether that's over the threshold or not, and whether you need to register for VAT. One of the problems is if you go over the threshold without realising it and you don't register for VAT, HMRC can retrospectively backdate your registration later on, which means you end up paying a lot of tax that you weren't expecting to pay. There's ways around VAT registration, and there's ways to make it more efficient if you have to register, so get in touch if you're interested in finding out a bit more, and I'll be happy to help.